Clara and La Llorona, vertical bar, a Gothic encounter in Mexico. A stunning blonde with piercing blue eyes, Clara is dressed in an alluring Mistress of Dracula outfit, a black velvet gown with a plunging décolleté that accentuates her signature elegance and allure. Her golden waves are styled into a dramatic updo, and her dark makeup adds to the Gothic atmosphere of the shoot. Her confident demeanor is tinged with curiosity about the village's haunting legend. The spectral weeping woman, draped in a flowing white gown, her face veiled by mist and sorrow. Her ghostly presence is both tragic and terrifying, her hollow eyes fixed on Clara. A haunting wail echoes around her, carrying the grief and rage of her lost children. A remote Mexican village steeped in folklore, its cobblestone streets lined with crumbling adobe houses and lit by flickering lanterns. The photoshoot takes place near an ancient riverbed, surrounded by twisted trees and overgrown foliage. The air is heavy with the scent of damp earth and the sound of distant weeping. Clara's trailer is parked nearby, its dimly lit interior offering a false sense of security. The ancient riverbed glows under the pale moonlight, casting long shadows over the eerie setting. Clara poses against a backdrop of twisted trees, her Gothic gown shimmering in the faint light, ultimately facing her haunting presence and the grief she embodies. The photographer adjusts his camera, complimenting Clara's striking presence. The crew murmurs in admiration, but their excitement fades as a chilling breeze sweeps through the set. "Did you hear that?" a crew member whispers. Clara glances toward the river, where the faint sound of crying drifts through the air. As the shoot continues, the photographer pauses to review the rushes on his camera. His face pales as he steps back, his voice trembling. Clara leans over the monitor, her eyes widening as she spots a ghostly figure standing beside her in one of the shots. A woman in white, her face veiled in shadow. Clara leans over the monitor, her eyes widening as she spots a ghostly figure standing beside her in one of the shots. A woman in white, her face veiled in shadow. Clara leans over the monitor, her eyes widening as she spots a ghostly figure standing beside her in one of the shots. A woman in white, her face veiled in shadow. "That's not part of the crew," Clara says, her voice shaky. The eerie wailing grows louder, and the crew begins to scatter, leaving Clara alone near the river. Clara, a model in a Gothic photoshoot, encounters the weeping woman, La Llorona, in a remote Mexican village, ultimately facing her haunting presence and the grief she embodies. The wailing starts again, faint at first, then rising to a deafening crescendo. Clara freezes as her mirror fogs over, revealing the faint outline of a woman standing behind her. "Who are you?" Clara whispers, her breath visible in the sudden cold. The figure of La Llorona materializes, her hollow eyes staring back at Clara through the mirror. The trailer's lights flicker as Clara spins around, but La Llorona has vanished. Clara grabs her phone, her hands trembling, but the device refuses to turn on. A sudden gust of wind slams the door shut, and the sound of weeping fills the small space. "Why are you here?" Clara cries out, her voice echoing. The ghostly figure reappears, her voice mournful yet sharp. "You awaken memories of what I've lost," La Llorona says, her grief turning to anger. Clara bolts from the trailer, her silk robe flowing behind her as she stumbles toward the village square. The distant bells of a crumbling church ring faintly, cutting through the wails. Clara nods, clutching the charm as she hurries back to her car. As she drives away, the village disappears in her rearview mirror, but the haunting wail of La Llorona lingers, echoing in her mind. Back in the safety of her hotel, Clara reviews the rushes from the shoot. The images of La Llorona remain, hauntingly clear, a permanent reminder of her encounter with the legendary weeping woman.